battle here, because Train is excellent at it, Mykles very good at it. It could determine who ends up winning this map.
Hex, when did you divorce Pharah?
I think it was like the first nerf. I don't have any friends, so I can't play Pharah Mercy because no one will play Mercy with me. I mean, it's really hard to solo queue and play Pharah. I decided I'd be a time traveler instead.
That is a sad story.
It is a sad story.
But hey, you get to travel through time now and play Tracer, who is phenomenal on this map, so it's not all bad. Either way, the match has begun, and both teams going to trade up poke here early on. Both divas getting each other's face. And you take a look at LG Evil, they're playing back a little bit here. They're not really super diving in. They're letting Kungarna move into them. We'll see if it works out. They are on the bridge, which can be precarious positioning, to say the least.
Yeah, a nice notion for Mykles to be trying to get to the backline and deal with that Zenyatta. They think he's gone. Surprise, Mykles back. Rob will fall in this fight. That's a big deal to lose your Zen that early.
Well, now that Rob 420 is down, it also makes for way less healing on Super. So Kungarna in a good position here. They are going to get the first control point cap, and that is a signal for everyone to reset. Everyone into the koi pond.
Why didn't anyone tell Super? Wolfen Train just jumped off the edge and Super had to go get himself killed. That's like 500 HP just fed to the other team. If they were going to bail, he should have bailed.
Super doesn't know the meaning of giving up.
He truly doesn't. He has one gear, and it is go and attack. And that's why I respect him for it.
If his retreat key is bound to S, he probably doesn't have the S key on his keyboard anymore. Let's be realistic. Either way, LG Evil moving in once more. Jake coming in on the flank, but Super gets blown up immediately with the pulse bomb. Mykles going after the threat this time and really have himself a game, just chewing through the tanks of LG Evil as Kungarna keeps a dominant position here on the point.
That's why I mentioned Mykles in the last game, because I could sense he was getting close to it. He has a huge potential as Tracer, and maybe not the most consistent that we've seen lately, but if he can just start going off, he can be a dominant force as a Tracer. As I watched Kungarna, I think, a couple weeks ago, and he was a spectacle to behold. And if he gets going on that Tracer, it's a hard person to stop.
The scary thing here for LG Evil is they haven't been able to build it much from Aldvange either. The pulse bomb comes in from Train, sticks, doesn't get the kill immediately, but still LG Evil very much all in here. Transcendence is out, but Train ends up getting booped right off. And still, even with the support ultimates converted, things not quite going well here for LG Evil as Bijou just piling on towards the end. Why not?
Yeah, Bijou, I think that's a late Bunny Blaster kill to take down his counterpart in the other diva. It has been all Kungarna on this map. Started off with the very early kill, and Mykles gonna have another pulse bomb, probably gonna be eyeing up a Zenyatta again, and Rob's not gonna be able to transcend out of it. They have to sound barrier this next fight.
They certainly do. They're gonna put the sound barrier, oh no, did someone just get knocked off? No, not quite. LG Evil able to maintain footing on the ground, and this initiation is far better. They pick off 3 immediately. But for Kungarna, you're still very happy with how this is going. You have 99%. All you need is one more good fight to flip this back, so it's still LG Evil under a whole lot of pressure.
Do you think Rob was expecting Mykles, you know, considering that he just flicked and headshotted him because he's come to the same spot on the bridge every single time? Mykles going to the well one too many times, and Rob punished him for it, was the first kill in that fight. The plus side is he's still going to have that pulse bomb, and now all the support ults are used. Kungarna, a great spot on this map.
Absolutely. Mykles moving in. Pulse bomb, not going to hit this time. Remix with the Primal Rage, but Super going to pop it first. Was looking for knockoffs on the bridge. Is he going to get it? Very close. Lucio able to wall ride, keeping himself in, only to get blown up by Volt at the very end. There really was no escape. Still a winnable fight here from Kungarna if they can get back in. They haven't lost that much, but the Pulse bomb moving in from Train, not quite connecting here just yet, but Kungarna moving in, and finally they hit Pater. Vol out of the fight, and they're still applying heavy pressure here, Hex.
Heavy pressure indeed, but they just lose Baby Bay and Remix. A late transcend as they think they have the horses to win this race on the point. I disagree.
We'll see, the fight is still certainly going on, and this is dangerous for Kungarna because if they don't convert and take this, which it is certainly looking like they will not, they spent a lot of time on a heavily engaged fight where realistically they can play the reset game here. They can go back, reset, and look for one good fight, and really now most of their time is gone. They'll get 1, maybe 2 attempts left of this, so LG Evil doing a really good job of bringing this one back.
You got to know when that fight is lost, and it was lost a while ago. And to use the Transcend after 2 had just died, 2 important heroes that you wanted in the fight on that point was a brutal mistake. Super's going to take out his counterpart in Remix, and now Kungarna in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely. LG Evil piling on 3-0 in their favor, and even though Mykles finds Rob in the back, this is, well, also finds himself, I guess. But that was just tough. Too many of his teammates were down to begin with, and you can only expect so many heroics from a Tracer. 95% here from LG Evil, about to bring it over. Now it's desperation from Kungarna to try and stall this out and look for the miracle, but they're down far too many people here. This would be something else if they'll bring it back, and as I say that, Hoops and Remix do find their counterparts here. So LG Evil, though still dominant, perhaps a door open for Kungarna. I mean, it's still a little bit rough.
Super had Primal Rage, so I really did not expect them to be able to take that point over. They will take the short, quick way off the bridge. That was all Kungarna for most of it, and then just bad ult management, I think, and taking that fight, not knowing when that fight was over, because it had been.
I wouldn't even say bad ult management. I mean,
that transcend was poor.
It was part bad ult management, but for me, it's just the part where you don't need to take a long, extending, delayed fight when all you need to do is win one fight. Resetting is very favorable to you there because you don't have to really play the long game. You had an advantage.
It's one of the reasons I like this of the control maps, because this is not Oasis where fights last 15 minutes. This is a map where teams will reset and they will play a 6v6, and there's more set plays and set pieces, and they just tried to scrap it out, use some ults that possibly they didn't need to, but they had a pretty decent performance up until that point. We'll see if they can get something going on this stage.
All right, both teams rolling out here once more. And again, we'll see how LG Evil decides to engage us. They were a little bit more passive last time. Let Kungarna move into them first. Didn't quite work out for them here, as both teams trading out dive. That's going to be Remix who falls first. They focus him after the dive, and it opens things up now for LG Evil to go a little bit deeper. And you see Kungarna on the retreat. Evil's going to get demeched, and it's going to quickly snowball to be a one fight here for LG Evil, and very likely first cap.
Yeah, with both tanks out of the mix, there's just not enough meat to absorb the damage coming in. They're going to have to cede first point, as Train is going to get that cap with the rest of his team. Getting some poke on the outside is Mykles, but he will give his life for it. Firm control, but as the respawns come in, the balance is shifting in favor of Kungarna.
Kungarna able to flip this off the respawns, as you just mentioned, and Baby Bay well protected by both of his frontline tanks, really just make it near impossible to land good damage on him, and it's Baby Bay's personal shooting gallery. Big part of why Kungarna is able to come right back in, retake this point, and now we'll see how they defend it, as they do have some time to set up their defense.
Be interesting to see what the initiations here look like from LG Evil, if they just continue to go for the dive. This is a great spot for Winston. We see it in a lot of games, but you just get so much entry damage, but they actually kind of scope it out and will rotate it through Mega.
Remix right now getting the cleave of his life. He's going to go primal, and everyone's going to get bopped around. Transcendence, though, stops it from being as deadly as it otherwise could have been. Remix lucky to get out of his life as the counter push coming in from LG Evil. That was a really nice Transcendence to open that up.
Yeah, very nice, but this Transcendence on a Baby Bay is going to allow him to get a couple of kills as well. And meanwhile, they still have not flipped control of the point as LG Evil, Kungarna stays in control. A rifle butt to the dome.
1 HP!
Jeez.
Well, Baby Bay, very adept at staying alive in that situation, and it was key because the way that started out, it wasn't really great for Kungarna. Remix wasn't able to convert that Primal Rage. The Transcendence was well timed, but if you don't kill Baby Bay, you're going to have issues.
A very nice stick there from Mykles, as he has definitely gotten over the jitters he had on pulse bombs on Gibraltar and has been sticking these in the last couple of fights. And you take out a big damage source like that right away, look at this. They're just going to reset immediately. They don't want to fight.
Well, you see that all the time from Tracers now, where it's one of those things you have to worry about. In the past, we're like, check your corners for Reaper. Now it's check a corner vaguely near you for the Pulse Bomb. Here comes LG Evil once more, though. The Pulse Bomb, the Sound Barrier to initiate, and fall over the top with the self-destruct. Gets his man in Remix. 2 kills to open this up here for LG Evil, and they're in a great position to flip this over. Self-destruct comes in, not going to do much to them. And Bishu will delay a bit on the point, but he should fall here in a moment as well.
So we're in a similar position as we were for the last stage. 94% on the board from Kungarna, and we said last time, oh, they're in a great spot. They just need to win one more fight. The economy looking a bit in shambles for Kungarna, though. Only Baby Bay is going to be nearing his visor soon. Train is going to get in here with the stick early. No, denied, as Dogman puts some orbs into Tracer's
And here comes Baby Bay, the pile-on. The tack visor is up, but its fall stops him from getting what he wants to look for there. It's a good defensive matrix to zone him out, and it keeps LG Evil in this fight, and no, wins them the fight, as they are going to push this right back.
Defense Matrix trying to keep them alive. They do not want to get staggered even harder here as LG Evil dives and tries to clean up the last couple of those kills. They will not do so. 60% and counting. Mykles looking to try to find an area for this Pulse Bomb, trying to get that entry kill that they need to secure this stage.
Well, they do a Pulse Bomb up, and they're going to open with the Transcendence to start things out. Everyone piled on around Dogman, looking for a way in, but LG Evil with a great ability to push back. Kungarna all in, Sound Barrier in on this, and it does let them power through. They take down Jake immediately, Super barely getting away, and not even. Baby Bay finishes him off. It's 3 kills here for Kungarna, and off of the power of their support ultimates, they're going to win that up-close fight, retake the point, and at 97%, it's in question whether or not LG Evil can even get back on and touch this. And they will not.
And Remix was going to have Primal Rage anyway to play the bouncer at that door. He will pop it at the end just for style points, because why not? And they are able to finally capitalize and finish a stage, tying up the map 1-1 here versus Luminosity Evil. I think Baby Bay, and what I've noticed actually, and we talk about what makes someone a good soldier, is that the Helix Rockets, what him and Defran have in common, in my opinion, is they are hard to chase down. They use the sprint very well. You see them get out of situations with 10 health, 1 HP. They know when to retreat and where to retreat, and using that ability, one of the only type in the game to get out is really a mark of an excellent soldier.
Well, we talked about, to begin this map, how Overwatch is on a razor's edge sometimes, and you don't get much more on a razor's edge than the soldier living with 1 HP, healing up, coming back in and finishing the fight. So, yes, tiny variances in aim or just variance in general really does matter in a game of Overwatch, and it can give life to teams in fights that they otherwise might lose.
Well, good thing kill cams are off, because that would tilt me seeing the 1 HP on my enemy. And they started off here pretty quickly. Rob does go down in this fight, but it is Super and Jake combined to take down Bishu. So far just 5v5 right now as they're trying to get much more aggressive on LG Evil. They're on the other side of the map.
LG Evil certainly showing more aggression than they did on previous rounds, not really letting Kungarna dictate the terms of engagement early on, and they're rewarded with this early capture. So Kungarna will be sent back. They'll have to decide how they want to re-engage this once more, and it'll be interesting to see how LG Evil decides to hold this right now. They're not really trying to go up on the high ground too much. Train is in an interesting position where he can flank and probably get out safely. So Kungarna, they're just going to pull up together, Hex, and go straight up the middle.
Oh, wow, a beautiful charge shot around the corner as Dogman was waiting for Train. He absolutely derails him to start this fight. Charge shot's the mark of an excellent Zenyatta as Dogman opens that up with Flare.
You know, I can't hear him, but I hear him in my heart. Doa was incredibly happy over that. That is a man who loves his Zenyatta, and that was a great moment for Zen. That said, LG Evil, they dropped the Sound Barrier and the Transcendence. They are still invested in this fight, and Jake might be bringing it right back. Kungarna, though, not giving up here just yet. A Sound Barrier of their own comes out, and both teams fighting heavily for this. LG Evil, though, they lost control of it in the middle of that, so this is very good for Kungarna.
Yeah, the Primal Rage has to come out as it's been flipped back over, so it's not even going to be delaying. Super's looking for kills for this, and 1,000 HP only lasts him so long as he will finally go down. Not only is a charge shot great from Zenyatta, but he got a Tracer. His mortal enemy as a hero was able to charge out the Tracer. It does feel good as a Zen.
Dogman has to really be liking himself right now, but that is one mere fight. Still a fight that has put Kungarna on top here on the control center, surpassing LG Evil in just the last few seconds, 42% to 36. And LG Evil not really working with a whole lot of resources for this next fight. Either is Kungarna really, but Kungarna still has the superior defensive positioning, and they can lob the self-destruct right into the back line. Doesn't connect right away, but creates enough space to let Baby Bay do his job.
Yeah, bowling in there. Jake had to run away, got very low, but the Winston gave up the chase onto him. Train will use a pulse bomb late in that fight to take down one of the supports, but it's not going to really matter as Avash should be able to rejoin his team, or Pooks rather, should be able to rejoin his team momentarily. It's going to be a battle of the visors, I think, for this next fight, as Baby Bay and Jake both have them ready. Baby Bay will likely have the superior positioning.
Well, LG Evil does have a slight advantage in that their Sound Barrier is already up, but they lose Super immediately. Advantage certainly neutralized here, and for LG Evil, they don't even get the chance to use their support ultimates because Baby Bay ended that before it could even begin.
Fight's over, so Jake's gonna go hide in the trees. I think it's a good plan, hiding out in the trees. Vol is taken out late as he was demeched, so it is getting down to the very last fight for Luminosity Gaming. They've got both support ults, though. They could pull this back.
So does Kungarna.
Yeah.
The support ults are going to be a bit of a wash here. It depends who uses it while they still have everyone up. Jake finds Remix very early on here, and now the support ults come out for both sides. Both sides all in on winning this right here, and now, of course, LG will just fight for their life as Jake pops attack visor, immediately gets chunked, and the diva in his face going to limit the damage there.
Limit the damage, and actually his buddy Super came over to make sure he was all protected in that fish bubble. They are able to get the couple of kills, still not have flipped the point back over, looking to secure these last bits. The pulse bomb does come out, and Pooks is the collateral damage there.
LG Evil, when their backs are against the wall, they are able to flip this back, and yet a familiar position for them, Hex, where they have to hold for the rest of the map. They did it successfully on the first round, not so successfully on the second. We'll see what happens here on the third in Control Center's Train. Not to be deterred from his previous terrible experience with Zenyatta Orbs, looking for the ambush once more.
We might have Primal Rage battles coming in as well, as that Helix narrowly dodged. Primal Rage, like the old Genesis or arcade game, as two monkeys are going to go at it against each other. Both popped, and it's a beautiful pulse bomb in the midst of this.
Both Winstons just fighting for dominance here in the jungle of Lijiang Tower, but Kungarna coming out a little bit ahead here. Baby Bay got a little bit more off the visor. 2-on-1. Will this self-destruct equalize? Not quite. LG, though, they cannot back out. If they lose this point now, they're almost certainly going to lose the round, and they do lose control of it. And now it's a matter if they can miraculously pull this back, but Kungarna well positioned to shut them down.
Yeah, trying to get that stall, but Baby Bay's position is great here. He's going to be able to put so much damage on them. Soundbearer is going to come out and give them hope at the very least. Train's been dancing around. Lucio's still on the point. If they can get a couple kills, maybe they can start staggering this back as the respawns come in, but losing Train is going to mean their delay game is going to be very difficult to pull off. Vol also down, and the moment they get off this point now, that wick is just going to burn.
And everything's going the way of Kungarna here. This is just standard cleanup when you have a huge edge. It would require a massive pulse bomb to bring it back, but Train, nowhere close. And Kungarna, one round away from evening this up and sending us to a third map.
What do you think Kungarna is able to take these control maps where Gibraltar obviously didn't work out as well for them? Is Baby Bay just the best soldier in the game right now? Or in this game in particular between these two teams? Because I think Jake is a fine soldier, but it's not what jumps to my mind is like, oh, top tier soldier. He's good at everything.
Well, yes, I would say Baby Bay has certainly been having a better game than Jake here so far, but I would say for LG Evil, who engaged very, very well back on Gibraltar, I do think Kungarna has sort of taken the initiative more often than LG Evil has, and it certainly hurt them. More so than anything else, I think LG Evil just needs to find a way to hold on to the point and not force themselves to come from behind in every single round, which is what we have seen here so far. So for LG Evil, just winning the first fight and then getting up to 60% before losing it, that'd be a nice chance.
Yeah, I think Dogman's also playing really well too. He stood out to me on this Kungarna roster as just such a great source of damage, even from the support position, playing very well. And I think Mykles hitting much better pulse bombs than he was prior. Speaking of damage, Rob's able to take down Baby Bay from across the map. The Zenyatas are out for blood today. What kind of terror omnic holiday is happening?
I don't know. Someone put something in their Wheaties, but whatever it is, it's certainly making them bloodthirsty as anything, as LG Evil able to start things out on the right foot. And a lot of it does have to do with Rob 420's orbs coming in from across the map and removing one of the biggest threats on Kungarna. You can't rely on that every time, but it is very nice when that does in fact happen.
We almost had an Arisa on the field. I think she can actually be very good at this map if you have control of the points. It was Bishu who switched to it, I believe, momentarily, but decides that they do need the mobility that a Diva will provide. He will stay on that. Now Winston battle in the corner. It's been weird to watch these teams rotate through Mega, but somehow they're living through it to tell the tale.
Train was looking for the big pulse bomb onto a team in the room. Doesn't quite happen this time, but Mykles, he's the one who has paid her. Both supports removed from the fight. Mykles is feasting at the LG Evil buffet, and Kungarna will be flipping this one right back.
It is a little surprising how much better than Train Mykles is playing. I did preface that this is very likely a Tracer v Tracer map. It's one of her best maps by far, and Mykles had just being so close to hitting these giant plays is now connecting with him and finishing fights.
Kungarna, great position here to hold on to this. Both teams with plenty of support ult firepower here, so you're going to see a Soundbear coming from Kungarna first. just in holding this and pushing LG Evil back. They get no kills off of him. Now here comes Jake, being sneaky on the flank. The Tac Visor's in the back, but Remix ruining his day. Primal Rage countering Tac Visor all day long here, and it creates plenty of space for Baby Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. They try to get on the point just a little bit, only get halfway up there. Another pulse bomb comes in for Mykles. He is having a great game as far as accuracy of those sticks, which were eluding him earlier in the evening. He shuts down yet another support. So 46, nearing 50% now for Kungarna as they look to even up the series 1-1.
LG Evil, it would be really nice if they could retake this here rather than being on the hot seat once more. Train does have a pulse bomb, so if he could work his way to the back, it could be big. If you had to find a time to land a big Tracer pulse bomb that turned the game around, now would be the time. And did he do it? He did! Dogman is out of the fight, and Train, though he dies, opens up the door. LG Evil collapsing in, and Jake finishing what Train started.
Yeah, if you could pick one person to take out of the fight, you would just handpick the Zenyatta nearly every single time, but especially for this Kungarna team. We talk about how great Dogman has been playing for them today. A full cleanup as Jake will begin to wave hello, as Jake is wont to do.
And this is so good for Luminosity Evil right now because they at least have a one-fight buffer. They can lose the next fight. They don't have to be worried about being stuck in a hit-or-miss situation. So, buffer room here from LG Evil, a Transcendence on deck, and they're going to use it right now and take this fight right indoors.
Yeah, they want to fight in the hallway. They know exactly the angle of which approach Kungarna is going to take. They've come through the same side every single time, but a nice support ult, and here comes Baby Bay's Visor looking to find pay dirt. He's got a couple good targets in his sights.
Many good targets in his sights, and Ishu and Remix are right there to mop it up as Baby Bay, again, so well protected by the tanks in the front, the sound barrier on his back. But here's the importance for LG Evil winning the fight previous. LG Evil can come back in with a Tac Visor of their own, but Mykles, he can play spoiler. Mykles is measuring LG Evil right now. The pulse bomb moves out and does not connect. Jake firing back in turn, Mykles under fire, and here comes Jake with the Tac Visor as Avast already down.
Brutal. Avast had sound barrier. He's not going to be able to pop it. He's going to be in his grave with that checkmark next to his name. They needed sound barrier for that next fight. They get a couple of kills to try to bring it back. They get that sound barrier off. They win it. He might be able to get back in the fight, though.
The pick on Avast was huge for that. But the upside here is that he is back in. He's going to drop the barrier, but only hits 3 people. Super died right before it connected. Still, Train carrying the slack, bringing this one right back in. It is a all-out brawl for control of the point in the last here. It could go either way.
It is alternating left and right. Luminosity, LG Evil rather, at 99%, as with Kungarna. The next decisive fight will win it. Overtime is going to be ticking away so much quicker now. LG Evil wants to play one more stage of Lijiang Tower.
They don't want to go home here just yet, and Super leaning house here on the point. Space being made for Jake. You still have Kungarna streaming back in, but they're heavily outnumbered at this point. And LG Evil is fully reinforced. Super and Jake, they will clean up the scraps, and we will decide this on a 5th and final round. And let's remind everyone of the stakes here. If LG Evil is able to pull this back and win this next round,
over.
That's it. The series is done.
That'd be the set. Kungarna has played much better. It's been off the back of some really nice individual plays. And I think the target selection from Luminosity Evil did change a little bit there. Baby Bay has not been ultra effective, so they're going after the supports, and they're just trying to take Dogman out of the fight. He's been the center of attention for better or worse. That's what you are as Zenyatta. And getting that pulse bomb onto Zen changed the course of that stage.
One thing that's really worth noting, because we've seen it now from both Zenyatas, but when you can win a fight for free almost because your Zenyatta lands a excellent secondary fire on a key DPS player,
yeah,
that's massive, especially in Control where it often does come down to one fight as the margin between both teams. So Rob 420 and Dogman in many ways can control the destiny of both these teams, even as much as we do focus on what has been a pretty good class in tank play.
Absolutely. So a little poking coming down early, and it is Kungarna getting the better part of the poke, whereas most of the tanks for LG Evil have to back out. Baby Bay getting highly pressured, but puts on his Keds, but not enough. Baby Bay taken out by Train as he tried to retreat, and now Train looking for a little bit more. Gets discorded, rewinds right out of that. This should be a very easily won fight for LG.
Train has been coming alive in the last 2 rounds. You look back to his key pickoff to really put things over the top in the last round. You look at the opening here. This is not good for Kungarna if Train can continue to play at this level, because LG Evil, this time, they will get the first capture. And if they can just keep the momentum up for a little bit longer, Kungarna could be exiting early tonight.
Tracer play owns this map. It's just so good for her, and we've seen when Mykles playing great, that's when Kungarna is going to win. I mean, it really is. If you just watch how these Tracers are playing, you can tell which team is doing a little bit better. Remix already out of this fight, though, and that's so important. They're going to have to back out, or maybe they want to come back into the Pulse Bomb, but without their Winston in there, they're going to try it with a Sound Barrier going on in the defense, and they're using a lot into this fight as LG Evil's.
They are using a lot, and the one upside for them is that it works. They're able to push them back, and Super has Primal Rage, which is very effective on this particular stage, more so than even the norm because of all the ways that Super can get free kills. Oh, Michael, destroyed to start this off. The self-destruct, while good, not even really necessary to finish that out, and LG Evil piling on. 50% to 0, Hex.
Did Baby Bay pop his visor with 5 HP left and just die? I know, that's not a question, actually. Let me put a period on that. Baby Bay just popped his visor with 5 HP left and died. That was weird. So Luminazi Evil, I thought, overcommitted on support ults in the previous fight. They didn't need both. They used both, and they should have lost the fight after that. Now they're going to be set up, and they're still going to be in a bad spot because support ult should come in from Kungarna now.
Kungarna has 2 support ultimates, but Super can still equalize this with a very good Primal Rage. But what I don't like here, Kungarna's waiting a long time to come back in. I wonder if they, I don't know if they need a pause or something. No, they were just waiting. This is a full reset. They're all in on this, but here comes Super. The Primal Rage is out. The Pulse Bomb in on the back, and he's just looking for free kills in the back that he's not gonna, no, he gets Bishu. Bishu ends up falling in the end. Not sure it's enough though, as Kungarna has invested a lot into this fight, and it's paying off into the backline.
They will eventually get this point back. A nice Primal Rage there to take out Jake, who was trying to evade that. I think that their economy is actually a little bit better in here. And you know what? I guess Baby Bay can be forgiven for using that tack visor because he's already got it again.
So for LG Evo here, Hex, though, the shoe feels pretty good to be on the other foot.
Yeah.
They're one fight away from taking the series, and they have plenty of time, so if they play this intelligently, they have a big edge here against Kungarna, where, yes, Kungarna does have an all advantage in this fight, but if they can just drain that with a junk rush and come back in strong, it's good. Bishu tries to end this quickly, self-destruct in the back, gets robbed for 20, and that's huge.
That was the Transcendence. I think it's fine, though, because I think they had time to just chill. Look, yeah, they're just going to reset. They had time to just hang out and make sure that both those support alts come online. Because in a fight, if you get Sound Barrier and Transcend and you don't get knocked off the bridge, that's a fight you should win 9 times out of 10.
This is the game breaker coming up here from Kungarna, where they're going to have to win at a big disadvantage against 2 support ultimates and a tack visor. It can happen, but it is very much easier said than done. This is LG Evil's fight to lose as they look to put Kungarna away.
Well, they're going to start off with Transcendence. The Zoom Yada goes in, and Jake will follow with the visor. Dogman already out of the fight, looking to finish the rest of the supports. All the supports down for Kungarna. The Sound Barrier comes in as icing on the cake. That should be LG Evil taking Lijiang Tower.
That's simply how you execute when you have that level advantage. LG Evil, by all rights, should have won that fight, and they won the fight decisively. And that is going to put Kungarna to sleep for the night.
Zoom Yada as an entrance there, a little bit risky to try to come in over the bridge because that can be completely floundered by one errant Lucio Boop, but they scouted it out. Michael will get play of the match. I thought his Tracer came alive after Gibraltar, not enough for Kungarna to steal the win.
I think the problem there is that even though his Tracer was coming more alive, Trains came alive more so,
right?
Where you can really look at a handful of fights that Train, if he doesn't connect the way that he did, that probably goes away of Kungarna, and we're moving to a third map. But again, we like talking about the variance in Overwatch. Well, Train had a much better later stage on Lijiang, and it was just what LG Evil needed to put that over the top.
Yeah, and they clutched it out. This is not the first time they have shown that they can, come back despite being down in an individual map. Actually, I had shades of LG Evil on Watchpoint Gibraltar in the last matchup we had, as far as these late pushes in overtime. But we talked you guys talked at length about Tracer, the Tracer v Tracer battle. Obviously very prolific in this matchup. But what I want to talk about is something we harken back to with their previous map, and that is Super. So Super obviously dominated in their previous map, and it did actually seem early on that Kungarna had the answer to that. Super was jumping in, dying early, and it was largely due to Dogman getting a little bit of support from the team. They got the Discord orb on and were able to clean that up. what are your thoughts on how Kungarna adjusted in this one?
I think it's smart. I think Baby Bay played a little bit of the babysitter in times, and you have to do that as a DPS, especially with the Zenyatta back there, because you can drop a healing station, keep him alive, and it's a huge deterrent when you're discorded and you get half a clip from a soldier. That'll take down nearly any target. So he sat a little bit closer back with his team, which is what you have to do. It's the perfect adjustment to a dive comp.
Well, it's also that, but then you take a look at how LG Evil is playing that. I would argue that even though historically they've been the best on control relative to the other maps, I felt like they had way more set points to engage on Gibraltar than they did here on Lijiang, where they were tentative on when they went in. Kungarna was able to take the initiative on a lot of those fights, especially in the earlier rounds. And it was only until a little bit later that LG Evil sort of went, wait, we're doing this wrong, and challenged it a little bit more head-to-head, and they weren't quite as passive.
Yeah.
So it was really on both ends. I do think Kungarna played it better, but I also think LG Evil is playing noticeably worse in the very beginning.
I was going to say, overall, it was a little bit of a messy game. And one thing we have to remember is these teams have been playing all day long. And no matter what, I mean, we looked at how clutch LG Evil was in this one to be able to have that endurance to come through. But, I mean, there were a lot of missed ultimates. They blew 4 ultimates at a time in instances where it just didn't seem like you needed to burn any at all. Same thing with Kungarna. So I'm curious to see long-term how these guys react as this event moves forward. Speaking of which, I think we are going to move it forward right now. We've got one semifinal match under our belts. You guys are going to be back here. I'll be back as well, but we're all going to be back to cast the other semifinal match here in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for more Overwatch Contenders.